Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks, SUVs and motorcycles, popcorn, the kid, the challenges, and wow. Hey, good Friday morning there for all those who watch my channel. Appreciate all the support as always, and wow, it's already Friday. Hard to believe, 2 weeks ago today, I was packing up, leaving, heading to Florida, and it's already 2 weeks later, which is just incredible on how time goes by so quickly. And this week as well, because Monday we talked about the video, we talked about on Tuesday the TV, Wednesday we talked about the internet, Thursday we talked about the telephone. What's the irony of me? What's the odds of me talking about the telephone? And yesterday was a major telephone crash on AT&T's network. What's the odds of that? Wow, right? So I figured we'd round out the week with the theme, staying with the same content on Friday as the computer. And boy, I am not the computer wizard of the world by any means, but I thought we'd just kind of wrap it up with the computer to kind of follow the theme of the video and television and internet and the telephone. It's all wrapped into one because all those things need a computer, right? And really what intrigued me was this NVIDIA, NVIDIA, semiconductor superpower chip manufacturer out of California with this guy Jensen Huang, it's like Huang, the CEO of that company, and two other the founders that got that company going back in 1993. That's what really kind of intrigued me this morning because that stock is up 59%. It's incredible. If I would have only if we knew, right? I mean, I think that stock now is like 785. I think, or is it like 875? It has gone through the roof. This company, you need to look it up. NVIDIA. I think it's NVIDIA. I have to look it up on my phone to give you the exact abbreviations. But point is, this is a company that's getting ready to be the fourth largest company in the world. And, you know, that's what drove this conversation this morning, is because, yeah, it's NVIDIA Corporation. That's because it's all about the artificial intelligence. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit more here as we talk this morning. But I just thought the computer would really round out the conversation this week. But meanwhile, so many antics, getting bikes re-registered, getting things in order to get back to Virginia, and it's a project. Yesterday was a hell of a long day for me, running up and down the road my bikes to the DMV, and then getting my mother to the hospital. When I say the hospital, I should say the doctor's office, and spending time with the doctor, which was very beneficial. I'm just so glad I'm down here to kind of see what's going on with my mother, and it's really intriguing, which I'm not going to disclose, any personal information, but it's very interesting that a lot of my family is not even abreast, including myself, of what, is kind of going on, and some things that my mother hasn't been doing, which I feel like in some ways have contributed to some things that aren't working out for her, and just very, very informative. And I talked a lot to the doctor yesterday, so that was very beneficial. And the irony is, for me, I'm just trying to get so many things in order before I have to get the hell out of here and go back up north. And I literally was just scrambling back and forth yesterday, and I literally had to, I finished up all the paperwork right at the last second, was able to drive my motorcycle over to the doctor's office and visit, be there with my my mother, my daughter, and my dad. Because my daughter is very capable of doing many things, and she was able to get my mom over there, and so that all worked out. And so anyways, just the point is, it's never-ending projects on the Iceman's adventures here, and it's such a beautiful day. I mean, it's just an incredible beautiful day, and we should be on the bikes riding, but it's for Friday. All the loonies come out on Friday, so I have mixed feelings on Friday riding in some ways, because every brother shows up to go to work on Friday to get their paycheck. Every brother's leaving town on Friday, but this is the warmest day it's been now in about a week. So it really is just perfect riding weather, maybe even boating weather. But I do just now remember that there's a chance of thunderstorms. I think there's a chance of storms this afternoon or something. I got to look that up. So anyways, going through the conversations, appreciate everybody, reaches out to me, and I do send comments of, I have concerns. I get all that. I mean, I really do. I have a very exposed YouTube channel, And I really do appreciate those that really seem to care about me, or do they? Do they, right? No, they do. I really do. I take it to the heart that those are people that reach out to me and they express their views and ideas of what's going on my channel. And you know what? If I really was to run my channel off the fear factor, I wouldn't even be here, because you just have no idea. I expose so much information to so many people, and I share so much that so many people would never do. And I really never wanted to do that. But you know what? I'm at an age in life. For the record, tomorrow's my birthday. So tomorrow I'll do my birthday video. Do I do or not? And I'll be 61 years old. And I've been through life, and I've been up and down. I mean, been beat up. I've had my great times. I've had the lousiest times in the world in my life. I really have. I mean, I know every watch my channel, you're only seeing just a little phase of my life. So most people are clueless of what I've gone through in my life. And I'm not here really to harbor on that. That's not what's going to make the YouTube channel any fun. But what I think is more fun about my YouTube channel is I share with you who I am and what I do, and that's what I do. And I think people enjoy that because, as one person has mentioned, it's just raw content. It's real content. Once I start getting fearful of sharing information and sharing my antics, then I really think the YouTube channel really has now gone to me living off of fear. And that's what I remember so well when I got a true beginnings of my life, was reading Think and Grow Rich book by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read it, you should. If you haven't listened to it, you should. I've got a video on it, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And one of his comments of him looking at people in life were the 12 commandments, the 13th. Positive mental attitude, sound physical health, hope and future achievement, human harmony in relationships, freedom of fear, capacity for applied faith, willingness to share your blessings with others, be engaged in labor of love, open mind, all subjects to all people, complete self-discipline, knowledge to understand others, financial security. So it's like the money comes last. And then if you master all those, then you get the 13th, which is the sixth sense. You just kind of know. So once again, just wanting to relate to some that have kind of voiced out some, thoughts and concerns. And I get all that. And hey, man, every day is a new day. And that's something that's going on in my family right now is you just have to take day by day. That's kind of where things are as you progress in life. And I've been around the block enough to kind of get all that. And I'm sure a lot of people my age, you get it. So anyways, the computer language, and we know all these things around us are computer based now. It's incredible how the computers are everything that we own. Every single item, everything you do is computer. You're a computer. Yes, a computer was thought, this is where I go to my creativity of my YouTube channel, where some people I'm sure laugh at, here's a guy that's got a YouTube channel and he can't post this stuff up on the video. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what goes on is, let's see here if I can find it here for you as you're looking at the motorcycles here. So, what goes on is this is a lot of work on a channel. This isn't me crying the blues, but there's a lot of just work, and there's not much compensation. And so when you have to start getting down and really editing these videos and creating these videos and pacing things, for me to make a video this morning of all my content talking, usually 30 to 40 minutes, and then if I want to get involved in actually creating, other media content that allows you to see things while I'm talking to you and I'm pointing at a screen, it's time. It's time. It's a lot of time. And for me, my position on my YouTube channel is, hey, either you like what you like or you don't. And there's many other YouTubers out there that, offer information as well. So here we go. The computer. So really, what was the first computer? And for me, it's really kind of intriguing to read about how, in some ways, it was the 1600s. I guess you could go back to the Greek and Roman times because of how you do things, but what's been more looked at, I'll show you here. What more looked at is really the 1819 Babbage, a guy out of, I guess, New England, or is he? Up here's the kid. Wow, these guys here are getting much more efficient. They usually don't get back this soon, so the interference is coming. But it comes back to, let's see here. And Babbage wrote, they was creating logarithmic tables during his time in Cambridge, around 1812, 1813. when he first imagined a machine could do the job of a human computer. So remember, human computer, you think to yourself, what? And so before Babbage came along, a computer was a person, someone who literally sat around all day adding and subtracting numbers and entering the results into tables. Then the tables appeared in books so other people could use them to complete tasks such as launching on chili shells, accurately calculating taxes. So us humans, it's all the numbers. I've talked about this on my channel, numbers. I even had a number for each day of the week. And here's the kid. How's my coffee? I'm getting instructed to come over and get my coffee as the two peas in a pod get out of the car and bring in breakfast for my mother and for me and here's Poppy. Here comes John Dalton of Yellowstone. Does he look like that? Does my dad look like the Kevin Costner who plays John Dalton in Yellowstone, the movie? Let's see what the word of the day is for him. Let's see what he has, what's going through his mind this morning, right? And there's my kid that's looking at her computer, and there's Dad evaluating. So, anyways, well, they're kind of doing all their antics over there, and I try to find a spot for my freaking coffee here. So this guy Charles, is it Charles Babbage? Yeah, just too much information, right? So for him, he had a vision, and what he did is he created one of the first computers. And I'm trying to figure out here as I kind of look at this. So I'm showing you a picture of it. Let's see here. His first vision was something he dubbed the difference engine, which worked on the principle of finite differences on making complex mathematical calculations by repeated addition without using multiplication division. He served 1,500 pounds for the government. So let's see if I can get you a picture. So here it is. This is what he designed. Hey there. Oh, you got your shorts on. You got your shorts on this morning.
That's right.
Wow, you're
man.
sporting, man.
That's right. I'm going to pass a covenant that you can't wear long pants here.
Really?
Yeah.
Until it gets to be 60 degrees out.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, well, listen to Bull. He's been wearing. So what's the word of the day today, Dad?
The word is the shark has pearly teeth, dear.
Okay,
The
all right.
shark has pearly teeth, dear.
I have no idea what that means, Dad. I'm lost on that one.
Mac the knife. Hey, Gary, you got to move this bike because the
Yeah, I get it.
guy is coming this morning.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'll get her done for you.
So you know.
All right. Skittle on in there and take care of Mom.
Well, that's a full-time job, buddy.
It keeps you youthful.
I couldn't tell you whether she took her medication or not. She doesn't want to answer me.
Huh. Yeah.
That's not unusual.
Exactly. Don't obey the husband. What woman's gonna listen to the husband? Maybe out there. Maybe get this conversation. Yeah. Anyways, so what are we going to? So we're going back to early 1800s, where technically the analytical engine could have been the most complex, the machine to start the computing industry. But as you go further into to more modern times, then it goes into the 1970s, but it really goes back to the 30s. It goes really back to 1937 when another individual had the vision of modern computing. And it's interesting, the computer really was based on, numbers. That's what really kind of brought the computer, in which code, what's code? I'm not even that. So the computer was used to decipher World War II, Morse code or something like that. So you see in the 40s and the 50s that the evolution of into IBM, the Random Access Memory, or RAMAC, was the first hard drive. So, and then it really wasn't until 1981 that IBM had their first computer released, which was a DOS-based Microsoft system, and I used that computer. I remember back, using those type of computers back in the 80s, and it was the Microsoft dominance of who kind of, brought that to market. But what also intrigued me about this, and once again, I know it's kind of basic. You can look it up yourself, but more or less you can see that in the early 1800s, like the loom was a computer-operated machine. It had punch cards on the mechanical device where you use different punch cards for the machine to know how to make fabrics. That's a fact. That was early 1800s. So they called that, machinery. So many ways, the computer is really came from machinery, manufacturing. It would be my assumptions. Even like I was talking, for military reasons, war reasons, how far you had to launch a missile to hit your target, what angle. People know more about that than I do. So early 1800s really didn't come into more in the 1940s, 1950s of what I just talked about. But where this all goes that intrigued me to talk about this morning is the AI, the open AI. And if you watch my channel, you don't have to look at my ugly face all morning long. If you watch my channel, I've talked a lot about the generative pre-trained transformer, the ChatGPT, the Sam Altman, the OpenAI, the Grok, the Bill Gates, the Elon Musk. I've talked in great lengths and talk of explaining about what I'm learning and what we're witnessing. And so the AI, the OpenAI, which was opened back up to the public in like November of 2022, they took it down for like 2 years to try to clean up the corruption that was in it, just so much bad stuff. But so where did the artificial intelligence come from? Where does someone have the vision of computers processing information? And that's where this comes down to another guy. So here you go. Here's a guy, Alan Turing, in the beginning of AI. This guy's back from the 30s. So this guy here, he had a vision back in 1935 he said an abstract computer machine consisting of limitless memory and a scanner that moves back and forth through the memory, symbol by symbol, reading what it finds and writing further symbols. So he was fixated on having computers be smarter than a chess player. So what they have called is the Turing machine test. So apparently, as time progressed, there was another person that came along that advanced the artificial intelligence. So right now, you can say to yourself, so it was 1935, this guy Turing, was he the true visionary of AI, artificial intelligence, of understanding how computers could be taught to learn things and then teach you how to learn things? So right here, this shows you that Turing illustrated his ideas by reference to chess. And if anybody's chess, you understand all the variables and how many moves ahead you have to be to play chess. So, but what's interesting is he had a vision that once a computer could master a chess player, or the chess would be the best, smartest thing out there. So in 1945, Turing predicted that computers would one day play very good chess, and just over 50 years later, in 1997, Deep Blue, a chess computer built by IBM, beat the reigning world champion. But what's interesting is, but this didn't really prove to be the huge improvement in computer chess since Turing's day is attributable to advances in computer engineering rather than advances in AI. So this guy Turing thought he was the real AI guy, but no, because Deep Blue C56 parallel processors enable it to examine 200 blah 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 blah. So AI really came to us really later than the 30s, because this really wasn't per se his Turing test really didn't I guess you could say was the true way of interacting with the computer to create the artificial intelligence. Once again, I am not some computer whiz guy. I just like to share information, and what this comes full circle to is on how today we have a company called NVIDIA, and they're blasting off in making superconductor chips that are the biggest in the world, meaning they're the number one supplier in the world of. Okay, so here's IBM. Let's see here. I'm trying to look here by Samuel. The AI first AI program to run in the United States. Also, in Sugarsman, it was written in 1950 by Arthur Samuel for the prototype of the IBM 701. In 1950, added features enabled the program to learn from experience. So, if you remember me many times talking about how generative pre-trained transformer, that's what this artificial intelligence is about. That you're teaching the computer how to act, which in the end then possibly teaches you how to act. And in order to do this in today's computing world, you have to have a lot of semiconductor chips that have incredible power. And what's the irony here is, for me, it's the gaming. So the gaming industry, whether you realize it or not, where we are today, NVIDIA was the developer of the semiconductor chips for the Xbox and for PlayStation 3. So NVIDIA from 1993, when it was founded, its real core business was developing graphics, which, if you know CPU, Central Processing Unit, versus GPU, is your graphics processing units. Well, graphics processing units run on two parallels, versus the CPU basically runs on one accomplishment. So this is where the NVIDIA's super chips today are so sought after, because they mastered the parallel. To me, it's the variable. It's the potential for a chip to be able to think and do multiple things all at the same time. Versus CPU, my basic understanding from that is being on my motorcycle, and when I pull in the clutch and I put it in gear to get it to go down the road, that's like a CPU, I guess, because it's accomplished one thing. But I guess like the GPU is when you're doing, the motorcycle is doing lots of things all at the same time, from the motor running, from the drive belt to the transmission to the throttle, the gas. So I mean, probably my scenario there or analogies maybe okay, but not great. So once again, so this artificial intelligence has come now recently. It's growing by leaps and bounds like never ever seen. And this company I'm talking about has 70 to 80% of world dominance that have created these semiconductor chips. And so apparently, when the ChatGPT was opened up in November of 2022, I'm going to get another thing here for you. There was 10,000, here you go. NVIDIA Corporation, it holds approximately 80% of the global market share in GPU semiconductor chips as of 2023. And then when the ChatGPT was brought to the market, it was powered by 10,000 of those semiconductor chips. And then as you go on this, you look through the history of NVIDIA, where they came from, but it's so interesting to think that this artificial intelligence true beginnings at the level we're at today has come through the game boxes, through gaming in some ways. Not totally. I mean, there's other semiconductor chips that are designed specifically for that interaction, but it's the 3D. So it's just how we're evolving. We're part of the game. You know, we're now in the gaming situation. We're now going to witness more than ever of this artificial intelligence that in so many ways you're being played. You're going to be gamed. I mean, I just think and for me, I mean, I'm not embellishing or anything here. I'm just sharing information on. I'm not even interacting with this artificial intelligence. I'm sure I could probably get involved in that. I could probably make my YouTube channel maybe even better. I don't know. It's just about time, energy. It's all about sitting down and having just to go idle on processing information through your brain all day long. But at the same time, I get it. The OpenAI, if you can write your programs and you can interact, it creates content for you and it'll outdo you. And that's where it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, wow. I mean, you're going to feel like, I mean, to me, it just feels like you're the lesser of the two now. I mean, do you really enjoy in life thinking that you're going to be the lesser of others all the time? And I mean, is this what this artificial intelligence do? But yes, I hear you. It'll make you better than others. But it would make you better than others because of you using their technology. So I get that. But yeah, you know, I'm sure it's debatable. I would deny that. And I'm not here by any means trying to be a person saying that this stuff isn't good stuff for you to use because it's being used. And that's what I thought to myself yesterday. I was at the DMV that it's just a matter of time before you're going to go into a DMV office. And it's going to be a terminal there where you talk to this terminal and it's going to ask you for your paperwork and it's going to scan it and it's going to ask you this and that. And you're going to interact with a sitting computer in front of you. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, we are it's incredible of what we're going to witness probably over the next 10 years in our country, in the world, of just the elimination of jobs like never, ever seen. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I mean, I truly hope I'm wrong, that I just have a pea-sized brain. 2 peas in a pod, right? I always say that when my dad and daughter roll up. But I hope I'm wrong. But with this artificial intelligence gaining the momentum, and that's the thing that I'm talking about today, is this company can't build chips fast enough, even though AMD, Intel, other companies have this technology. But the NVIDIA is the more sought after manufactured semiconductor chip because they have so many years of experience. But they didn't have all this success. There's a lot of content I can get into there with NVIDIA, how they grew the company. They did go through some serious litigation lawsuits. They've had a lot of bumpy years. So they've done phenomenal, but also they have had major setbacks. But as of today, they're the 4th largest company in the world. They sit behind Microsoft, Apple, Saudi Aramco, or whatever Saudi oil company, and now they're a $2 trillion valued company. So they're now 4th in place. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this OpenAI, this artificial intelligence, is being rounded up and being bought and being used. Never ever seen the fastest ever in mankind, in society. So it only tells you behind the scenes as I'm making these videos, there's some company gathering all these semiconductor chips and building all these artificial intelligent programs that's only going to eventually come to be in front of you, where, like I just said, you're going to go to a store. It's infinite of where it's going with, and then the Optimus with Elon Musk. So it's just incredible in how the computer, more than ever, is going to transform the civilization of mankind. And you hear the governing bodies wanting to, create this. Everybody gets paid. Everybody gets paid. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Or the governing bodies are wanting to create these pay systems where whether you work or not, you just get a paycheck every month to survive. Which, in so many ways, you have to kind of scratch your head and say, wow. I mean, is this where it's really going? And there's going to be so many millions upon billions of people that, in some ways, what value are they to society because they've been replaced by all this technology? And I think that, sadly, yes, I think that's on our doorstep. I mean, I think what I think is so interesting about where we are in today's society, this green agenda crap that just is down everybody's throat, even though Joe Biden apparently is getting a little softer on the green agenda now. He's willing to listen to the car dealers and the car manufacturers that maybe this aggressive EPA guidelines needs to be kind of, simmered down, slow it down a little bit, and start pushing things out further. It's election year. Hello? It's election year. Anybody listening? Anybody listen to how Joe Biden's views and ideas are going to start to change this year? You just watch. You just watch what he's going to play the card to for everybody of the masters of deception. And so, but the point is, I just think to myself, where we are in today's society, how we're evolving with so much of this remote working, the home delivery of Amazon, delivery of food, I mean, as time progresses, why are you going to need all these cars? What are you going to need them for? I think the driverless, we know that the biggest goal of Elon Musk is these self-driving cars. We know that many other manufacturers out there are in the same goal, where I've said it many times on my channel. You're just going to call a taxi. You won't call a taxi. You'll just call a full self-driving vehicle to your residence to pick you up and take you wherever you're going, drop you off, and it goes away, then comes back and gets you later or whatever. Or it may be a drone. Who knows? I mean, it can be a lot of different things. But at the same time, I mean, I'm just, once again, I think that as time progresses, the whole point of this conversation is this whole green agenda. I mean, come on, sincerely. Where is it really going? With possibility mankind, transportation, the use of these vehicles starts to change. I mean, I think that is I think that's huge. I think the lifestyles are so going to change over the next 10 plus years. And I think the vehicles and cars will be a whole different thing. Have you been watching the Coors? What is the? I am not the most sophisticated guy when it comes to all these the Concours or whatever they have. The Amelia Island, Florida get together where all the very expensive cars, all the classic cars by RM Sotheby's does the Amelia Florida event where people show up their $1 million cars, and then all the rich people show up. Just trying to help a neighbor out there. Where all the rich people show up to buy these very expensive, rare cars. I don't know a lot about it. I know the Concours, all that stuff. Well, apparently, this guy, Rob Myers, owns the Sotheby's or whatever, the auction house that oversees all these cars that come to this Amelia Island event this coming weekend, the 29th of February. And he oversees the purchasing, and he gets his cut of money for selling cars here. Well, apparently, Haggerty's bought out the Amelia Gardens Concours, or whatever you call it. So, Mike, excuse me if I don't say everything correctly there. But anyways, Haggerty bought it out, and they brought in their own, Broken Arrow or Arrow auction house. So they have their own internal. They don't want to share the money more with Rob Myers. So that's pissed him off. So he has created, I think it's Mamba Miami. I think it's something like that. You can look it up. It's on the internet. But apparently he is trying to circumvent that thing that's been going on for 50 plus years, since 1976. So he's got his own big event going on the same weekend, just, I guess, X amount of miles south or north of where that is. And he's trying to build his own brand, his own gathering of all the elites that come there and look at the very expensive cars. But what drew my attention was there's a 38-year-old kid, in my eyes, is a kid, that's got his own restoration business or his own Highline car business where he buys European cars and then he gets them all fixed up and he takes them to these shows and he tries to get his money out of the cars that he buys. And apparently on the Amelia Concours things, the Lamborghinis aren't allowed to be there. So this article talks about how Lamborghinis aren't looked at like a lot of these other pristine earlier version cars. And so Rob Myers, that's created this new event, he's open arms to anybody who has really cool, late model cars. And so the Lamborghinis are actually invited to this event. So this kid's very excited. Say a kid. When you're 61 years old, 38-year-old guy to me is a kid. But the 30-year-old gentleman there, it's on the internet. Look it up if you want. And you can see on how he's excited to have the opportunity to be able to participate in a very high-line event. And it's all about the hobnobbing. It's all about the $900, $1,000 dinner. It's all the rich elitists of the world that can spend the money to buy these very expensive cars. I think to myself, wow, why didn't I pursue that in my life? Why wasn't I the guy, like the chasing classics guy? Why didn't I figure that out so many years ago, where I should be going out and trying to pick up rare cars and then take them and make my money off of those? I just didn't have. My dad didn't have time for this stuff. My dad had to work every day of his life. My brother doesn't have this capability. He's borderline deaf. For me, I've been chasing, working a job and a career and building a business and building a family, and it's just that. It's just so anybody here on my channel can relate. It's like, yeah, when do you have time to go break off and do that? And who is your leader? And that's what's so interesting about this NVIDIA company is this guy is he came from I guess he came from where did he come from? I'm trying to think. The three original computer scientists that started that company in '93, they came from like AMD, Microsoft, IBM. These are all guys that learn from others, then to take that knowledge and then capture it and expand on their own. So anybody that's young out there, watch my channel, your key to success in life is you have to go hang out with people who are doing something that is successful. Yeah, successful. Don't go hang out with the hood. Don't go hang out with the druggies. Don't go hang out. I mean, it's so bad where people get caught up and hang out with the wrong people. Hang out and work for successful people and learn their traits and learn their industry and take that knowledge after you work for them for years, and then you can break off and make something better. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. That's the biggest mistake people make in business. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just make the wheel better. Anybody watch my channel? That's what you have to do. You have to learn from others. And like I say, for me, if I would have had my father be that guy chasing classics, I mean, come on, where do you think I'd be today? If you look at the Wheels Through Time museum with all the motorcycles, where Dale, the guy, was find the barn find. I think the original series for Dale was a Wattsker or something like that. It sadly passed away. But down there in North Carolina, Maggie Valley, I've been there a bunch of times. And anybody out there that rides motorcycles or wants to travel around, go to Maggie Valley, North Carolina, and you go through the Wheels Through Time museum of where Dale went and picked up all these barn finds over many, many years of these old Indians and Harleys and other very early 1900 motorcycles, and he restored them. And there's a museum in there, and I even have video of me walking around that museum. If you ever want to look it up, Wheels Through Time video. And so the whole point of that is, yeah, his son is now taking that operation over. But would his son, if his dad never had done any of this, would his son had the intuition to go do that? I mean, look at Peyton Manning, Ellie Manning. Who's his dad? I mean, you go through the list of incredibly successful people that you typically will look who's around them. Typically, there's somebody bigger or better than them that created them. Very rarely, they're out there. They're out there. I mean, that's a criticism of Donald Trump for many, is that his father gave him his real estate business, that his daddy owned all the apartment buildings. And it's incredible. I was telling one of my subscribers, Metallica, out there, hey, good morning there to Metallica. I appreciate all your nice comments and concerns of my well-being. Yeah, you're smarter than me, and I get all that. But anyways, thank you. And good morning, Mr. Sanchez, who likes to reach out and stay in touch and always interact. I appreciate that. So I was just saying to my good friend Metallica, it's incredible where we are in today's society. And we focus on things, we chase things, we get fixated on things, and it's incredible how the media machine, it's the distractions. It's the masters of deception. It's the masters of distraction. Everybody's focused on Donald Trump, on his lending practices were not lawful. I mean, there were bankers. Everybody knows. I never even watched it. I didn't even watch it. I didn't even read it. I'm just going off what I figure is going on. I'm not lying to you. I just kind of read a little excerpt here and there. I'm just assuming it's with Donald Trump is being sued by the state of New York because he violated the lending laws and how he presented himself to borrow money. I guess that's what it's all about. And so they're going to sue him for $400 million. Meanwhile, the illegals are running rampant like never ever seen in New York City. The politicians are passing laws at the taxpayer's expense. For you as an individual has to pay for all the wrong way of society and how society's being handled. It's so bad that these other countries, foreign countries, we're part of NATO. What does NATO do for us? Can somebody explain that to me? Can anybody tell me what NATO does for us? The Paris Accord. People were pissed off at Donald Trump because he wanted to get out of all these big organizations, that the country funds billions of dollars to these other countries. But yet here we are. We're the go-to country, and I know it's going on in Europe too. I'm no fool to what's the worldwide challenges of mankind and the illegal immigration. It's more happening It happens over in Europe as it's happening here, but focusing on us here, we're having to take care of all the world body governments that won't take care of their people. They don't care. So now people argue with you, if you're a Democrat or Republican, about how you're mean if you don't want to take care of these illegals coming to our country, and what's wrong with giving them $10,000, and what's wrong with giving them free hotel rooms, what's wrong with giving them free health care, what's wrong with them having free access to state voting? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with you? Why aren't we spending our time and energy on deporting these people back to the countries they came from and having a sit-down conversation with these other governing bodies that are dictators and the most corrupt people in power that are getting away of their own civilization, their own society that they're ruining? But where's that conversation? Where's that conversation? All I heard at once when supposedly Kamala Harris and Eric Adams were going to go down south and have a little chat with some of these South American countries. Where'd that all go? Besides, they were shown the door and get the F out and go back home. Just tell your taxpayers to take care of our problems. That's what you're going to do. Do you want to actually fly back home today, or you want to see something else? I mean, that's what goes on. So so it's just beyond believable what the focus is, and where we're in today's focus is. It's the constant pinpointing that if you don't agree with these radical views, then you're a bad person. That's where we are. We truly are. If you don't agree with the green agenda, you're a bad person. If you don't agree with illegal immigration, you're a bad person. If you don't agree about the abortion laws, you're a bad person. If you don't agree with not having to show proof of ID as a voter, you're a bad person. I mean, we could go through the list of what goes on today in today's society of the brainwashing never ever seen in modern times. The people will just sit there and bow down and, yep, that's right. What's the big deal? Not a big deal. What's the book? My good friend Patrick, I met on the pier, he told me to look up a book from the Russian leader of the 60s that said that the transformation of this country will happen and this country be overtaken without a single shot fired. And everybody understands that means watch my channel. And that's it. I'm done. So anyways, I'll make a happy birthday video to myself tomorrow. Whoop-de-doo-dah. Who wants to be 1 year older, right? When you get my age, I don't want to be a year older. How do we put that on pause, right? Can we pause it for a minute? It's always computer technology. Why can't there be a moment of pause, right? And that's what I'm sure Elon Musk is working on, like you can't believe, is how he recreates himself all over again. All about Elon Musk, right? We don't get on that conversation. So that was the week. If everybody thinks about it, we had video, television, internet, telephone, and the computer wraps it up. For the official thing, 1981 was the official personal computer by IBM that had the DOS-based system. And from that point forward, we've evolved into much bigger and better and greater things, or have we? Yeah, we all know it's the good and the bad. All right, everybody. Hey, God bless. Have a great day, and stay tuned for more adventures. And just, I love the people's comments and support. And as always, share the channel. When I see lots of people watching my videos, that's very encouraging. Just so you know, it just keeps me thinking I got to keep going, because it takes time to get creative with content. And there you go. And when am I leaving Florida? I don't know yet. I'm going to have to evaluate this weekend, but I got to get to work. I got to get back down to DMV. And the list goes on and on and on. So projects, and I got to get the truck bed rug in, and the cover. I'm always onto something. That's what I was saying earlier. Is for me to sit down and be idle, that's very challenging. For me, I've done it for many years, but as I get older, I just want to keep on moving. That breakout is so much fun. All these bikes are a blast. I just can't. And one of my subscribers is like, "What? This is the baddest ass Harley to date." I'm talking factory. I'm not talking about the guys that build their own Harleys. I'm saying factory Harley. This is the most fun, baddest ass vehicle. Do I regret selling my Indian Challenger? No way. I am glad I sold my Indian Challenger Elite. I traded it for that. I am so happy. I really am. Do I regret that? Nope, no way. They just picked up my Indian Challenger yesterday at the Harley dealer. That's hard to believe, because that was me close to, I think it was the 4th of February. When did I buy that bike? I can't keep track. So anyways, God bless. Have a great day.